When I was recommended to a movie called Descendent, I was apprehensive thinking it was a Disney Channel live-action young adults TV series that put the titular descendants of classic Disney cartoon villains in a shared universe filled with young love and plenty of dancing and singing. A prologue of a suburban American couple feeling elated about expecting a child into their lives. I was certain the baby was unlikely an offspring of Jafar or Cruella. Sean and Andrea Brunner were in full anticipation of welcoming their young one, while still struggling and negotiating with finances, when Andrea seems to be having some complication with her pregnancy, and Sean's income as a school security guard was not substantial enough to prepare for the newborn. As Sean was seeking additional income sources, he was wholly not expecting to see some strange light beam when he was repairing his roof and seemingly abducted by extraterrestrial beings. The next moment when he came back to consciousness, he would roughly remember his brief encounter with his abductors, but it felt like he has just fallen off the ladder and suffered mild concussions. Sean soon realized that he would be starting to see things that felt too real to be hallucinations, and he started having a rousing interest in sketching and painting, which developed into an obsession and linked to his own personal trauma since childhood. He slowly would be distracted at work, and even attending a prenatal class with Andrea became a frightening ordeal for him. He wanted to trace things back to his own family, but could not escape the haunting visions, and felt an urge to arm himself, which was never going to end well with his heavily pregnant wife when she found his gun willy-nilly located at the bedside table. With his world collapsing around him, the audience wondered if it was really the works of the aliens, or Sean was suffering some sort of prenatal anxiety culminated from his own lack of a paternal figure growing up. Descendant was written and directed by Peter Cilella, a working and grinding actor in many movies and TV series I had not heard of, and this was his full-length film directorial debut. I wanted the choice to replace the A to an E at the end was to differentiate from the Disney series I had mentioned at the start of this review, or perhaps the word dent at the end had a subliminal meaning with the alien adoption having a dent in the Brunner's life. Like a lot of domestic horror features, but more on the supernatural persuasion, things got aggravated for people who were already wallowing in misery or having some sort of mental issues or trauma, giving the detractors an opportunity to debunk whatever the victim had seen or experienced. There were also parallels with a movie like Rosemary Baby, when a young expectant mother experiencing scary visuals that could be attributed to hormonal changes, but in the reversal of role of a father and using an out-of-this-world type of trauma to amplify the anxiety was something novel. A lot of praise had been showered on Cilella's ability to create realism in the dialogue between the expecting parents and their struggles to keep things afloat after Sean's accidents leading to his strange behavior. I don't know if this could measure up to Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson's memorable tussle in Noah Baumbach's Marriage Story. To me, this marital turmoil was at its peak for a horror feature. There were a few jump scares to shake our protagonist Sean, but the real horror is finding yourself being axed from work when you have failed at your basic job prerequisite and allowing people to trespass a place you were supposed to guard, or when your marriage was at tenterhook, with your wife giving up on you and having to get a friend to chastise you on her behalf. There was a scene which I found to provide a sliver of transient levity though. Sean was looking for ammunition to safeguard from the unknown threat he felt to him and his family, and had to procure from a street peddler who sold things off the trunk of his car. Besides selling him the ammo, the peddler asked if he would be interested in some Lego building blocks. He felt like he was just peddling his looted items at any opportunity given, even though it was not the most suitable clientele. Ross McMarquand assumed the role of Sean, our wretched security guard, who drew the unfortunate straw to be abducted at the most challenging period of his life. Marquand, who made his name as Aaron, the openly gay character from the Walking Dead TV series, and played a key role in the main character's journey in the enclosed community of Alexandria. Marquand was also a prolific voice actor, and his most notable big screen performance was behind a mask as Red Skull, or the Stone Keeper of the Soul Stone, in Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. As Sean, Marquand was a likable and gripping protagonist whose mental issues were getting worse as the plot thickens, yet he was trying his best to protect his wife and unborn child, who he had visions that could be a scary alien offspring, yet he was losing grip with reality as we could see. Playing opposite Marquand was Sarah Vogel as pregnant wife Andrea. Vogel is an established TV and film actress and had main roles in series like The Tudors, Into the Badlands, and Mayans MC. Her most recent horror-themed film was The Lazarus Effect from 2015, about using science to create something that was going against the law of nature, that is reversing death. As Andrea, Vogel played a caring wife who did not want to burden her husband too much despite the complications she was suffering. But when he spiraled out of control, the look of disenchantment he cast on him was harrowing. Descendent was an interesting experiment from director Peter Cilella, who combined the anxiety of expecting parents with the threat of the unknown from an alien abduction, which could be something that arose from the victim's subliminal consciousness due to an accumulation of anxiety and childhood trauma. The unyielding desire for a healthy baby to be taken care of in the best nesting condition was something that transcended language and time, so all parents who watched the movie could empathize with what Sean and Andrea had gone through in this story. Despite this being a horror movie that went an unconventional route, with decent performance from Ross McQuant in the lead role, the story was not easy to grasp my full attention for the entirety of the movie, and lulls in the storytelling hindered the scares that Cilella had included. I'm awarding the movie a 6.5 out of 10. If you like more of such smaller features to be reviewed in this channel, please click a like. If you have not done so, please subscribe to this channel. Natasha Kermani's Abraham's Boys will be classified as one of those smaller, under-the-radar horror feature that deserve a watch, and I paired it with a classic vampire feature in Joel Schumacher's The Lost Boys in the preceding review. With what Sean had experienced, I hope the government and other organizations could put in more resources in caring for fathers in preparation of a newborn. Please ensure no suspicious alien activities are within the vicinity, or at least ensure they choose a different candidate for adoption.